Every time I review my curl coaching clients' routine, the first thing I'm doing is removing products, not adding them. And there are a few things I'm taking out almost every single time. This is part of my beginner curl series where I walk you through how to build a routine without overcomplicating it. So instead of adding more, let's walk through what actually belongs in your routine first. If you're new here, welcome. My name is Gina, and on this channel, we simplify curly hair so it actually works for your real life. First of all, you don't need more products. You just need a solid foundation routine. Most people, especially if you're new to wearing your hair curly, think that they need a curl cream, a mousse, a foam, a refresh spray, maybe a co-wash. And while these products are not inherently bad by any means, they're just not a necessity, especially when you're first getting started. And I have found that they can really interact with your results, and it might be why you're not getting enough hold out of your gel, why your curls aren't lasting. And it's really hard to figure out what is even working when you have so many variables in your routine. So before you add anything new, let's run through some of the basics. You first need a clarifying shampoo, which I find to be essential. This is going to replace your regular shampoo every couple of washes. I recommend going with something that is also going to remove hard water buildup. Even if you don't know if you have hard water, it's still good to know that you're covered in that area because that can wreak a lot of havoc on our hair. So pick a clarifying shampoo that has certain ingredients that can remove hard water. I can put up some examples of some of my favorites. To know if a shampoo is clarifying, look for the words clarifying, detox, and chelating means that it removes hard water minerals. Then you're gonna need a regular shampoo. I recommend going with something that's a little bit stronger, doesn't have to be stripping, but something that's going to effectively clean your hair and not set you up with too much moisture right from the get-go. And I tend to avoid lots of co-washes and very mild cleansers that don't really lather because they're not going to effectively clean your hair, and you need that clean foundation to start with. Then you're obviously going to need a regular conditioner. We all need that conditioning layer, but it's really going to vary based on your hair type. So if you have very fine hair that tends to get weighed down, you might need something very lightweight, and you probably need to thoroughly rinse it out as well. If your hair tends to be more dry, coarse, and brittle, you can definitely tolerate something a little bit thicker, more moisturizing. But overall, I usually recommend sticking with something light to medium weight for all hair types, just to make sure that you're maximizing your hold in your routine. And I'll explain a little bit more about that in a bit. In general, I would just avoid shampoos and conditioners that are loaded with a lot of heavy oils and butters. So take a look at the ingredients list at the first few ingredients at the top and just make sure it's not a bunch of oils and butters. The next one is a deep conditioner, which is optional. Not everyone has to deep condition, but it's nice to have it on hand if your hair ever gets very dry. Maybe it feels brittle and you need to restore some of that softness, especially for those of you with more of a coarser hair type. There are deep conditioners with protein and without. It's helpful to have one of each, but you certainly don't have to. Just having something that maybe has a little bit of protein can help ensure that you are maintaining that strength in your hair. And again, this is going to vary on your hair's thickness, but I will put up some of my favorites that really help to soften and moisturize the hair without being too heavy. Then you're going to need some sort of prep product. So this is what you're going to put on your hair when it's clean and before you style your hair. So I like to go with multi-purpose products here that are very lightweight. So typically I will recommend a lightweight heat protectant that has some conditioning ingredients, so it can also serve as your leave-in step to give you slip, softness, and obviously protect your hair from heat when we're diffusing later. If you're someone who doesn't diffuse, you could just go with a leave-in, but I still recommend something that is fairly lightweight and not too heavy with a bunch of oils and butters or silicones, because that can impact the hold and your gel's ability to grip on your hair. And then you obviously need a good gel, something that's going to make your curls last longer so you don't have to restyle every single day. If you use a good strong hold gel, you can probably get through on day 2 and day 3 if you're styling properly as well without having to do much. And that's amazing because we don't have to wash our hair every single day. If you struggle with your curls not lasting, I don't typically recommend going with gels that are more botanical, very natural. I personally like the ones with the polymer ingredients to help your curls last longer. Ultimately, it's going to depend on your preferences and how much hold that you want, and also your hair's finish. So if it tends to be more soft, I can put up some of my favorites of my strong hold gels that help soft hair not feel overly soft. And then also some gels that are great if your hair leans a little bit more brittle, more dry, more rough finish. Gels that are more moisturizing and have more slip and softness to them. There are so many good stronghold gels that I recommend. I've done a whole video on it. I can link it for you below to watch after this. And that's all you need to start. The only extra that I usually add into my clients' routines is a bond building treatment. Of course, that's optional, but it can really help maintain the health of your hair, especially if you currently have damage in your hair or if you have color treated and highlighted hair. I highly recommend a bond building treatment. If you're finding this video helpful so far, don't forget to hit subscribe below. It's totally free. I don't want you to miss the next video in this series, which is going to be about how to keep your curls intact overnight so you don't undo all of that work from wash day. Next, I want to talk about how you don't need more stylers, you need better application tools. I see this a lot with people who are not quite getting the results that they want. Maybe they want more definition, more volume, so they start throwing in products such as mousses and foams or volumizing sprays, or they ask me what product can give me better curl enhancement. Or maybe they try and use a refresh spray on next day hair to bring their curls back. While your products definitely play a role in this, especially when it comes to having enough hold for longevity, getting more volume and definition is all about what you do with your hands and what you do with your tools that you use to style and how you dry your hair. So these are the basic tools that I use every time I style and I think are essential for almost everyone who wants to achieve better results. First off, you need a flat weave cotton towel or a t-shirt. You should not be using a regular bath towel at this point on your hair. I hope that at least everyone is doing that to start. A regular bath towel has these little fibers that can really cling to the hair. It can cause breakage and it's just too heavy. It soaks up too much water. You will be amazed at the difference in your hair if you just swap it out with a hair towel that's specifically designed for hair, or you can even just use a t-shirt. Grab an old cotton t-shirt, heck, grab your pillowcase, whatever you need to absorb that excess water when you get out of the shower. It's going to give you more control over the water content in your hair, which is key for longer lasting results. And also frizz and clumping and all of that. So I actually don't really like regular microfibers, so the ones that have those tiny little fibers that you can see if you look close, even those I find can cling to very fine hair and cause frizz. What you want to look for is something that is smooth on the surface. So two of my favorites that I often switch between are the hair repair towels. I have several of these, lots of different colors. They come in different sizes. I love these because it's basically like a really absorbent t-shirt. It's kind of like a sponge when you squeeze your hair with it, but it's completely flat. No little fibers here to cling to your hair. I also like the Curlsmith microfiber towel. They do call this microfiber, but if you look closely, it is smooth. This one really feels like a sponge. And this one controls the water level great as well. You will find that it doesn't soak up too much water and it also absorbs just enough. So that's one benefit of a hair towel over a t-shirt. And also the size is bigger so you can tie it different ways, but you can definitely just grab a t-shirt, especially if you're just getting started. Another essential is having a spray bottle. While yes, you can certainly wet your hands under the tap, it's so much easier to control the water level when you have a mister like this. Any spray bottle will do. I don't care even which one my clients use. I'll tell them just go grab something at the dollar store if you have to. But I really like these Flairosol or continuous mist spray bottles because when you spray it, it creates a fine mist so it doesn't soak your hair and you don't get like a hard stream of water to hit you in the face or you can't really coat your hair evenly. So these are just nice to have. You can really get any of them. They all work the same. I have found some cheap ones tend to break sometimes though. So I tend to reach for this one from Bouclem a lot, but anything will do. I really like that continuous mist though. That's really nice. I've also used the Curlsmith one, which is nice. Bounce Curl has a nice one. Again, it doesn't really matter. I often just switch around with whatever one I have on hand. This one I tend to reach for the most though because I love the color. But both of these tools, a towel and a spray bottle, give you more control over that water level because if you don't have the right water level in your hair, you're going to see frizz, your hair is not going to clump, it's going to look stringy, and you might not get enough hold either. Next essential tool are clips, and I recommend claw clips specifically, not clips that are like the duckbill or the alligator clips. I can put up examples here. I have found that the hair falls out of those really easily and it can make sectioning really difficult and frustrating, especially if your hair tends to be heavy or even if your hair is very fine and it's hard to kind of grab onto. These clips from Bounce Curl have been game changing for both me and my clients. A lot of them use them too and love them. because if you look closely, they have these little teeth on the inside, which helps to really grab fine hair as well. You can use these for root volume as well when you're diffusing. That's why they have these little holes in them, but I mainly use these for sectioning. I've done an entire video on sectioning I can link for you below, but it's really about the clips and keeping the hair separated, so this makes a big difference. But again, anything that you have is totally fine. Just grab an old claw clip that you have in the back of your drawer. Anything will work. Just make sure that it is that claw design and not the duckbill clips. Next thing I recommend is some sort of brush to not only style your hair, but also evenly distribute your product and smooth out frizz. You can use it to detangle too if you want, but I recommend just detangling with your hands for the most safe way. But I have two that I want to recommend. My Tangle Teezer brush I have used for years. This is probably my most loved and used brush because it's very flexible, it's plastic, and so the bristles just flex, it doesn't cause any damage, and they're fairly dense too, so you can use them to smooth out frizz and style your hair. You don't have to do any crazy brush styling. I mean, you definitely can with these brushes, but just having a brush to smooth out your hair can make a big difference. Even if you don't do any crazy styling, just run the brush through before you scrunch and it's going to really change the game for your results. I've also really been enjoying the new Bounce Curl Slick Dense and Slick Flex brush. This is the Slick Dense one that I wanted to share with you. It's very similar to the Tangle Teezer and then it has these plastic flexible bristles. I will say the bristles on these are just a little bit more flexible, so if you're concerned about damage or if your hair is very fragile, you could go with something like this. But it has the edge lift design to it, which helps to clump and group the curls together to create extra definition. And I like this a lot better than the original because the original Bounce Curl edge lift brushes can be a little bit too much tension if your hair is very fragile. But honestly, you can style your hair with any brush for the most part. However, I would avoid brushes that have super dense boar bristles. I think that's going to be too harsh on your hair, especially if it's fine. And I would also avoid trying to style your hair with a wide tooth comb. I mean, you can do that to just distribute product or maybe arrange your hair, but it's not going to give you enough tension to style if you're looking for that sort of result. So look for something with flexible plastic bristles that's not going to be too much tension, and then look for something that is dense enough to actually make a difference in your hair without being too dense to cause damage. These tools will change your results more than adding any other styler, so they're really essential in your routine. And personally, I think this is where you should focus investing in your money along with a good strong hold gel to get the best results. And they can be more affordable options too for tools. Like I said, go out and just find whatever you can based on those pointers that I mentioned on what to look for. You don't need an expensive hair dryer and diffuser, you just need the right design. If you've seen any of my videos, you know that I'm a huge fan of diffusing because it gives you more control over your results. It helps to lock in your curl shape in your gel cast so your curls last longer and creates more shape and volume in your hair if that's what you're going for. I would even argue that your diffuser is one of your most important tools because how your hair is positioned when it dries is how it's going to stay. So if you're looking to really spring up your curls and enhance your volume and shape, you're going to need a diffuser to do that. There are so many different diffuser designs. There's universal ones, there's cheap silicone ones that you can put on your diffuser, and then there's extremely expensive hair dryers like the Dyson, which I personally don't recommend, especially if you're new or if you're wanting to really adjust the results of your hair and encourage that root lift. And a lot of people think that a more expensive hair dryer is going to equal better results. So they're spending like $500 plus on a Dyson. But the design of the diffuser matters more than the price. There are diffusers that are $5 and $500 that don't give my clients and myself good results. So here's what you want to look for when you're trying to find a diffuser. I would argue that the most important thing in your diffuser is prongs that extend out past the end of the diffuser bowl. So if you can see those teeth when you look at the diffuser from the side, that is a good thing because you can use these prongs to lift the curls, to scrunch the curls, and reach your roots for faster dry time. If you are using a diffuser that looks like one of these, yes, it diffuses the air to prevent it from blowing all over the place, but that's about all that it does. You might find it difficult to scrunch your curls with it, to create root lift and volume, and it can really disturb the curls by just touching it too much with the rim of the diffuser. I also don't like the ones where the prongs are set down in the diffuser bowl and it's super deep. While yes, that can cup the ends nicely, it can really tangle up the curls on the inside and you can't really use those prongs to lift the hair. That is if you're trying to create shape and volume in your hair. If you're using a diffuser just to hover and you don't really care about enhancing the curls or the volume, then by all means you can use those diffuser designs. Like I said, they're not bad. It's just these specific characteristics seem to give more control and get me closer to the results that I'm going for. The other thing is looking for a diffuser that has holes in the prongs of the diffuser. So when you look closely at the prongs, look for those holes. That means that the airflow is going to reach your scalp and dry your hair faster. Something that is large is also going to help dry your hair faster and help you scrunch evenly so you don't get wonky curls. So that's why I love this Curlsmith one, because it fits almost all of my hair in it at once. They also have the travel size, which is a little bit smaller, which I find is better suited for my clients that have hair that's very short or very fine. They don't need something this large, so they usually go with the travel version. I recommend a hair dryer that has an adjustable airflow setting and also adjustable heat, and one where the heat is not too hot on the lowest setting. This is one of my biggest qualms with the Dyson. The lowest heat setting is still too hot for curly hair, unless if you're using it at a distance and only hovering, or maybe you're incorporating the cold shot. I find that to be way too hot. When the Curlsmith one and other dryers that I'll talk about, even on the highest heat setting, it's not too hot for curls because the body of the hair dryer is designed for naturally curly hair, which can be a little bit more fragile with heat, and we don't want to cause damage when we're diffusing. And my hair still dries in about 10 minutes or less. I think the shortest dry time I've gotten is like 8 minutes with this diffuser using less heat because of the design of the diffuser compared to the Dyson. And I have compared them all head to head. Frankly, I just find that the diffuser head on the Dyson is just too small. While yes, the prongs do come out a little bit, I just find it takes longer to work with it because it is so small. So the Curlsmith one is one of my all-time favorites, and I definitely think it's worth the money. It's obviously more expensive than a cheap hair dryer, but it's not as bad as the Dyson by any means. I believe it's around $180, and you can occasionally get it on sale, like on the big sales like Black Friday. I do have a code too, but that's for 10% off. If you're on a budget and you need something just to start, maybe you're not even sure if you're gonna like diffusing, the one I would recommend is from Conair. You can get this at most drugstores or on Amazon. This is the INFINITI Pro, and it's the one that comes with the diffuser attachment. As you can see, the prongs are actually long enough. This bowl is set a little bit deeper than the Curlsmith one, so I don't quite get as much of that curl tightness when I diffuse with it because it kind of just cradles the curls more. And the only other downside of this one is there's no holes in the prongs, which I didn't even realize for the longest time until I looked closer at it, because I used this one for years when I was new to my curls. It still dries the hair, but I definitely notice better results when there are holes on the prongs, but at least you're getting the better design to really scrunch your curls and get volume with this. So I did want to mention it. It's very cheap. I believe you can get it for like 25 to 30 bucks. So I want to share your final checklist here on the screen, and you can also find this checklist on the blog post linked below. These are the basics that you need to start with. It might look like a lot, but it's actually not a lot if you look at what most curly hair routines have and what a lot of people are using. People are using way too many products, and they're not focusing enough on the right tools to really make a difference and the right techniques. One of the best tools that you have is just your hands, which is completely free. And your hands can do so much if you know how to style properly, and you can really get those results you want by using your hands to control your results. I recommend you pause here and take a look at the list and see how it compares to what you're currently using. Jot down a list of what you're using and see what can be eliminated, or at least do a test. If you try one thing from this video, take out all the products you're using under your gel and use your gel by itself for at least one wash day, and come back and tell me if your hold improves. Do you get a better cast? Do your curls last longer? I want to know below. This is the first thing I usually have my clients do before I even have them buy anything. I usually don't have them buy new products unless if they absolutely need something. Usually we can get better results out of the gels you currently have if you follow the right application techniques and don't layer too much. So for more of my recommendations on the gels I recommend, products and tools and discount codes and all of that, you can check below. And I'll also link you to that blog post where I'll put more recommendations recommendations of my top products, and you can find the checklist there as a quick summary. And if you haven't already seen the Beginner Curls series, I highly recommend checking it out. I will link the playlist for you right here on the screen. Take a look at these videos because I walk you through everything you need to know without overcomplicating it. We talk about how to get longer lasting results, how to apply your products properly, even with just using your hands so you get better results. And make sure you're subscribed as well, because the next video in this series is going to be how to protect your curls overnight, because that is essential too in protecting your curls so they actually last into the next day so you do less refreshing. So I will talk to you over there. Bye everyone.